Welcome to the Cardinals Squad Show. My name is Benjamin Garcia, credentialed Arizona sports media member. Do we have a full-blown quarterback controversy, or should just Jacoby Brissett be the guy? Let's discuss.
Jamil Douglas, former NFL offensive lineman. The Cardinals gave up a lot of sacks today. What was going on with the interior offensive line?
Alex Clancy, Locked on Cardinals. Is this the beginning of the end for everything we see in front of our faces? Let's get it.
Rise up, Red Sea. It's the Cardinals Squad. Everything Arizona Cardinals every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Valley of the Sun. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Gear up and squad up. The Cardinals Squad Show starts now.
What is up? Welcome back into the Cardinals Squad Show. Wherever you guys may be listening, however you may be even watching this show, thank you so much for making this show a part of your day. Today's episode is brought to you by the lovely folks over at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Well, I don't think it's all a loss today. And we'll talk about it why. But ultimately, the Arizona Cardinals, I think the statistic was, I have it right here, 5 straight losses of a total of 13 points. The Cardinals fall to the Green Bay Packers. Let's get into some instant reactions. Mr. Jamil Douglas, I'll let you go first.
Look, man, it's hard to accept a moral win. I think, if we had came out on top in terms of the Cardinals winning this game, the conversation would be a lot different. But this team is, I'm going to just say it straight up, this team is much more competitive with Jacoby Brissett being the signal caller. It's apparent. It's obvious. I know they came up short today, but we're seeing a team that's moving the ball. We're seeing, obviously, we'll talk about the protection and things like that. We're seeing a competitive team, and it's only game 2 of Jacoby starting, but I feel like we're, like you said, we're in a quarterback controversy, and we would be, it would not be smart to ignore that.
Yeah. I mean, it's, we're here again, I think, there's not a world where they actually do roll with Jacoby in week 9. Jacoby's 0-2. I think that's the easiest way. Listen, I'm not saying I agree with it. First off, the offensive line needs to book a all weekend spa package for Jacoby Brissett this week because he got absolutely lit up. He had 6 sacks, sacked 6 times. If that was Kyler Murray, that would have been 12. This is the biggest thing for me. My 2 biggest takeaways from today. 1, Kyler Murray would have maybe got goose-egged against that Packers defense with the interior pressure. He can't do it. He can't do it. And that's just something, it's stature, it's whatever it is. Number 2, they 100% made the right call by going forward on 4th and 1. Okay. And they made the absolutely bonehead, I'm in over my head call to push right into the interior defensive line of the Packers that's been absolutely lambasting them all day. It is the dumbest play call you can make. I don't care if they pooch punt it instead. Don't go for it then. That is the only thing that's been keeping the Cardinals from, winning this game by double digits, surprisingly. And you go right into the mouth of the beast with Bam Knight and me pushing Jacoby Brissett. Where's Trey McBride? Where's anybody that weighs anything that could actually help push Jacoby? That was the worst tush push in the history of it. And unfortunately, that was the play call they came up with.
You knew it was coming too, Clancy. It wasn't disguised. It wasn't like you kind of saw the Packers kind of run like a fake tush push where they kind of threw the not shovel pass, but whatever, little toss pass over to the running back. It didn't work out either, but it was at least a little bit more creative. I'll be honest with you guys. This one doesn't sting that much because the season was very clearly about, is Kyler Murray the guy? Are you going into next year with Kyler Murray? And I think from what you guys had said, I won't add too much to it. It's just for the second straight week, it's a trend. It's no longer a fluke. We obviously were too hard on Drew Petzing, and by we, I'll just say myself. And the Cardinals have a full-blown quarterback controversy, which we can talk about in the next segment of where are they at now? Should they start him? Should they not start him? We'll talk about those reasonings for that later. But also, like, it's two really good teams that the Cardinals went up against, one on the road, one at home. And you kind of feel like they probably should have won both games. And I don't think you feel like that with Kyler, man. Jamil, go for it.
Listen, man, they gave both of these teams fits. Like going into a game playing the Arizona Cardinals prior to Jacoby Brissett being at the helm, I don't think that teams really respected the Cardinals. They have definitely earned the respect of the Colts and the Packers, two teams that we're talking about having, playoff runs at this point, or we expect them to be in the playoffs, bar none. They have took both of these teams to the brink. Yeah, we could say, the Panthers, but they were up though, and they allowed them back in. But this is different, man. This team, they're playing harder. The defense has always played hard, but it's just a matter of time before it clicks and you're playing complementary football and these close losses turn into wins. Like, I just don't see how we can come off of a bye week and say, all right, Kyler, you're back at it. I think in terms of where the team is, it almost takes the momentum away. You got to ride with Jacoby at this point. Listen, 25 of 36, 2 touchdowns. Without the sacks, he may have thrown for 350 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's just the honest truth about it. So, obviously, you got to address the pocket, but I don't know, man. I don't know, Clancy. It's hard for me to say we're going to see Kyler in week 9. It's really tough for me to say that.
And unfortunately, usually what happens is the Cardinals make the wrong decision. It's usually just what it is. That's kind of their their chi, their center. Their metronome is making the wrong decision with things. And this is just going to be another one, because I can tell you what, if Kyler Murray's healthy, he's starting. Like, that's it. And we'll talk more about it in the next segment. But, like, I want to get your thoughts on – I've never seen the Alta Ferolta and Will Hernandez get abused like this.
Yeah.
Like, not even close. Evan Brown, he's like, people are finally starting to realize what I've been screaming from the mountaintops for 3 years. Evan Brown ain't it. Isaiah Adams ain't it. Jonah Williams needs to be put on a milk carton. Like, it's got to be Kelvin Beachum moving forward. If the Cardinals want to salvage the quarterback's health, first off, and any sort of semblance of competitive football for the rest of the year, they got to figure it out. They decided to punt on the offensive line this offseason. I don't know if it was bravado. I don't know if it was, Walter Nolan falling there at 16 and, maybe he'll be great, but it ain't good. It ain't good, man. So talk about what you saw with that, just in general terms.
Yeah, listen, I mean, obviously we know that Micah Parsons was responsible for 3 of those sacks. So Micah Parsons had a coming out party in terms of, I don't think that he's had a 3 sack game since he's played in the NFL. Rashawn Gary with the strip sack. What I did see where they were putting, their ends on the interior, and that's a mismatch. I don't care who you are. It's tough in terms of, dropping back 37 times. It's tough on the offensive line, but it's got to get cleaned up. I won't be the guy that sugarcoats the fact that they gave up 6 sacks, and I think we all suspected Micah Parsons was going to have a day, but not a 3 sack type of day. But man, moving forward, here's my question. They gave up 6 today, right? Jacoby can see down the field, and he does a really good job of keeping his eyes down the field and hanging in there. I think that's a 9 sack type of game with Kyler in the backfield. That's not a knock on Kyler. I just think that he doesn't do as good of a job of keeping his eyes downfield in the face of pressure. So it's like, I hate to say the grass is greener, but I do think it would have been a 9 sack type of game if Kyler was back there.
Let me ask you this really quickly. How important is an offensive line coach?
I was thinking
Because it's like, let me preface this for those people that don't know. Clayton Adams, offensive line coach this past season, now the offensive coordinator with Dallas. They're scoring 98 points a game. Justin Fry was the offensive coordinator, or the offensive line coach at Ohio State, who won a championship, and now is a first-time NFL offensive line coach. And the Cardinals are struggling not only in the run game, but in pass pro also.
Yeah. I was thinking about that actually as I was watching the game. And you mentioned Clayton Adams, like very well respected around the NFL in terms of the way he coaches. And you rarely see a guy go from being an offensive line coach to now calling it, for another team that's doing really well. So I think this it's bigger than what we see from the outside. I think that there may be some sort of jump. We see all the time players have jumps in terms of going from college to the NFL. There's also that for coaches because of the dynamic in in college you're coaching. There may be one or two guys on the defense that you got to really kind of focus in on. The NFL, it's all the guys across the board. And so I think there may be a learning curve for Coach Fry in terms of what he's coaching. I really got to take a deep dive and look at the tape and see, like, where is this breaking down at? Is this a technique thing or is it a schematic thing? Because those are two different things in my eyes,
Yeah.
I guess I would ask this at this point then. How much of this, since we went to the offensive side of the ball, do you give a letter grade for the defense in this game? Like, how much? I just know that there has been some controversy with the defense, whether it's through social media, people telling me privately, like, hey, the defense isn't doing their job. How much of it today do you put on the defensive side of the ball?
We asking me or Clancy?
Jamil, go for it. Open mic.
I mean, look, the defense, if you just look at the numbers, right? Third down, the Packers were 3 for 10. They held Justin Fields. Not Justin Fields. Jordan Love, a guy who we consider a gunslinger, did not have the type of day that you would think Jordan Love would have. Like, this is not, to me, they scored 27 points. Okay, I get it. The first half, they had 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of looking at the defense, like, they had 6 points in the first half. I can't say that this is on the defense. It's really hard to say it's on the offense as well. Obviously, the 6 sacks is glaring, but this was just a game in which I think the better team kind of won at the end, but it's tough for me to say that it's on the defense, man. I think the defense played well, relatively.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the two easiest drives the Packers had was when Jacoby Brissett fumbled. It was a short field, and then when they went for it on 4th and 1, didn't get it. This thing just popped in my head too, which is problematic to give them a better grade. I'd probably give them a B- after realizing this. That field goal at the end of the game, at the end of the first half, the Cardinals could have kicked a field goal to win the game if that didn't happen. Like that. So there's 7 seconds left. Yeah. And I know the kid kicked a 61-yarder, but the Cardinals don't go into halftime 13-3. It's 13-6. They lose by 4. If that doesn't happen, they're down 1 down the stretch, and they're able to kick a field goal to win the game.
Yeah.
I just also think there's some points to kind of point out in this game too. Will Johnson had a couple of penalties in this game. Wherever you want to go with that, I understand some of them might have been a little ticky-tack. Matthew Golden had a little bit of a coming out party in this game. He showed up a few different times. 4 receptions, 37 yards, but it felt like he at least showed up, where at times he didn't. It felt like he had a couple of big catches. Tucker Kraft in this game for the second straight week. The Cardinals can't defend the tight end position from Tyler Warren and Tucker Kraft. So, yeah, I think the Cardinals defense did their job. What I continuously try to explain to people is in the big 2025, I don't think defense wins championships anymore. And so when the other team clearly has the better quarterback, whether Kyler Murray or Jacoby Brissett is on the field, and you have a chance to win in that game going down the field with the ball in your hands, the defense feels like it did its job. And I feel like that's, again, where the clarity comes in here for the Cardinals quarterback position. Where, like, if they have a top 15 quarterback, it feels like they're a team that wins that game and is a definite playoff team at this point. So
yeah,
I just think it kind of goes from there, right? Like it all goes back to the quarterback position.
Yeah. I mean, it's 100%, and I don't think the game turns out that way. But we talked about, last week or earlier this week, the time of possession being key. The Cardinals did what they were supposed to do from that standpoint in terms of they had the ball for 34 minutes. Green Bay had the ball for 24 minutes. Like, if you look at the numbers, the Cardinals should have won this game. They're one or two plays away a game from their record being different. They're close to 500. Like, so this team is not as far away as we think. I know it's, to say that it seems kind of like I'm trying to push hope on everyone, but they're really not that far away in terms of how the games have turned out and how close they've been. They're one or two plays away each game from us talking about a whole different record.
I mean, defense is 100% win championships. So let's not.
I disagree with that in 2025. I just think it's different.
Well, the Eagles were the top defense last year, won the Super Bowl. The Chiefs were the top defense the year before. The second top defense the year before that won the Super Bowl. So they 100% win championships.
Sure.
When it comes to this team, they're down their top corner. Okay. And that's a problem. They're down 5 running backs, and that's a problem when you want to run the ball. And like, this is the thing. Marv missed all of last game. And like, these are things. They have so many injuries on this team. And it's not an excuse, it's not a reason, but those may be the 1 or 2 plays that you're missing from being 2-5 if those guys are actually available. And Will Johnson doesn't have to play superhero in his 7th game in the NFL. Like, if you have Garrett Williams there, I mean, things are going to be different. But by and large, the Cardinals are the best 2-5 team I've ever seen this team be.
100%.
And
100%.
This is what's the one real differentiator in one-score games? Coaching. Like, I think this is the first time you can actually look at the coaching staff and be like, they're in over their head. I think this is the first
Interesting. Okay, well, I think you can make the argument as well that you lose 5 straight games by 13 combined points. It's a quarterback issue too. So let's talk about the quarterback position. Quarterback, that being Jacoby Brissett, Kyler Murray, who starts next week, 2 weeks from now against the Dallas Cowboys. And let's talk about it next. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Rippling. Wanted to make sure I said that correctly. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SAS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SAS. That's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified performer for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. By uniting your employees, teams, and departments in one system, Rippling removes the bottlenecks, busy work, and silos your software created. And now you can get 6 months free when you get to rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. That's more. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNFL for 6 months free. Terms and conditions apply. The show is also brought to you by Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is such a fun and simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown, and you're in the game. Listen, I love how quick it is. You make your lineup in under a minute. My favorite part, Prize Picks just added stacks. So if you want to ride with a player, I can select their pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns all in one lineup. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 bet. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, guys, let's get into the quarterback controversy at the Arizona Cardinals are absolutely in neck deep. Jacoby Brissett, Kyler Murray, we've kind of talked about the differences already and what the offense might be lacking. Get more into that as well. But should Jacoby Brissett be the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals next week? Or are you kind of in, let me phrase it this way, let's try to build up Kyler Murray's trade value for the offseason. Clancy.
Kyler, there is no quarterback controversy. So I don't agree with that. I think
what do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by there's no quarterback?
I mean, there's no controversy. Kyler Murray's starting in week 9, and he'll probably start the rest of the year if he's healthy. Because once they move, once he's a healthy scratch, that's a wrap. Okay, I don't think that will ever go through anybody in that building's heads, even if they wanted to. You know, and I think Jacoby Brissett should start. The season's pretty much over. Nobody's going to trade for Kyler Murray midseason, I don't think. But if you're not going to start him in week 9, trade him before week 9, for sure, because there's no reason to wait till the end of the season. But there's no world he doesn't start when he's healthy. They didn't win these games.
By you saying that, are you just so we can get clarity from you? By you saying that, are you saying Kyler Murray is the best quarterback for this team right now?
Did I say that?
I'm getting clarity from your answer because my
answer is very clear.
By saying Kyler
is very clear. Kyler Murray will be the starting quarterback for this team when he's healthy. It doesn't matter if he's better or not, because obviously I can't wait to hear Drew Petzing talk. Oh yeah, it looks the same. Looks the same with Kyler and with Jacoby. There's no world that Kyler Murray doesn't start when he's healthy. Do I think he should? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but Jacoby Brissett's better. Yeah. But I would say Jacoby Brissett. I would like to see Jacoby Brissett start. Ain't gonna happen, dog. There's no way that they're gonna do that.
So Jamil, I know how you feel about obviously which quarterback you think is at least better for this offense. Let me put it in a player question then. You clearly see a better quarterback outperform the one you have. You're a player in that locker room, and the team starts Kyler Murray instead. What is it? How do people in the locker room react to that? How will they react to that? How would you?
There's going to be, listen, being competitive is everything. From a coach's standpoint, you want your team to be competitive. What gives you the best edge? That's what these teams are trying to figure out every week. Is it cutting practice shorter? Is it, having more run plays installed, better pass concepts, whatever it is, better players? Jacoby Brissett gives the Cardinals the best competitive chance. Now, I know Clancy's coming at it from a standpoint of he's going off the track record of what the Cardinals have done in the past. What makes sense isn't always what is being done. I don't care about any of that. All right. I'm saying if my job is on the line, which it will be at some point if this season is continuing to go the route of what it was when Kyler Murray was starting, I am going for who gives me the best chance to be aggressive. Through the last 2 weeks, we've seen a different offense from this team. We've seen a downfield passing attack. Trey McBride has now, and I know Trey McBride has always been a guy, but in the last 2 weeks, we've seen the tight end that we know to be Trey McBride. Like, he's a matchup nightmare for people. And Jacoby has stood in the pocket, delivered shots. Like, last week he threw for 320 yards. This week, 280. Like, what are we as a coaching staff? It has to be obvious that this guy I'm going to go out swinging with this guy. If we're not planning on keeping Kyler for the future, if he's not our future, why are we trying to appease everyone else and not make the headlines? Let's do what gives us the best chance to win. I don't know if that'll be done, but I will move with Jacoby moving forward.
I just think there's a chance that if you are, it's too early in the season for everyone, I think, to just concede. And with Kyler Murray at quarterback with the last couple of weeks, like it feels like you're already conceding. Like maybe later in the year, Jacoby Brissett has a string of 2 bad games because we have a decade worth of data of Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. It's not a great place to be either. Maybe then you insert Kyler back in and you try to, build up his trade value towards the end of the season. Sometimes that happens, but like I can't roll with Kyler Murray at quarterback if I'm Jonathan Gannon, because I have to explain that to the rest of the team. And
listen,
I don't think you want to lose the locker room.
This moment,
that's not how this works.
Well, Clancy, I mean, look,
Kyler Murray's making $50 million a year. Okay.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett is not 2-0. He's 0-2. Kyler Murray had this team with 1-score games also. So it's not like they were 0-4. He gets hurt, and then Jacoby Brissett's 2-0, and they're scoring a 40 burger. Tie goes to the starting quarterback always. That's why it won't happen, even if maybe it should because it looks better. Look at the raw numbers, wins and losses. That's all this season mattered. That's all that's mattered this season. They have 2 wins with Kyler Murray, 0 wins with Jacoby Brissett, even though Jacoby Brissett had played far more difficult opponents than Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand all of that. There's no shot on this planet or another where Kyler Murray isn't starting in Dallas on Monday night, 2 weeks from now. There's no world. So sure, there can be a controversy if they put up 10 points against the worst defense we've ever seen in the history of football with the Cowboys. Then, maybe you sit Kyler and then he never plays for the Cardinals again. That is a very slippery slope. You can't just start Jacoby when Kyler's healthy and then be like, oh no, let's go back to the guy that's making all the money who got hurt.
Sure. Then
I'll tell you this.
I mean, listen, that's why I said maybe. I wouldn't go back to him. I mean, there's an injury clause in his contract. He gets injured full. He can't pass a physical. All of his money becomes guaranteed. We mentioned that last show. Like, if you want to protect yourself from that, sure. But I'm not putting Kyler back out there at this point to either A, rebuild trade value, or B, to think that I have a better chance of winning. And that's why I look at it from the player standpoint that I've obviously never been in, and Jamil has been. I don't know how well that plays because I see the deep, like Budda Baker is a 5'10", 190-pound player, gave everything and all to Jordan Love, who's 6'4", 220, popped him. And like, I don't know if you get that same sort of effort from players if they're like, we're not even starting the best guy. What am I doing every weekend? Jamil,
listen, I'll tell you this, and I don't think you guys will be able to disagree with me on this. This is not one of those situations where the management, and I'm talking about the guys upstairs, scouts and GM and head coach. This is not one of those situations where after these 2 losses, they're sitting next to Kyler in the locker room and they say, hey, when we get you back, man, we're going to be full steam ahead. This is not one of those situations. This is not one of those. It really isn't. This is one of those situations where, and I was going to say, the timing of this is so interesting because you have the bye week. Teams are on their bye week. They're reevaluating. They go and look at statistics, projections for the rest of the year, who's productive, all the PFF magical scores out there, all of these things. They go and look at it and they debrief for hours and hours throughout the day. That's just what these guys do. They love it. They have their coffee while they do it, donuts, all the good things. Donuts, old fashioned, maple bars, whatever you like, Clancy, they have them in there. Okay. This is the worst timing for Kyler Murray to be coming back from an injury because the 2 teams that they played, like I said, playoff caliber teams. If you're looking at how competitive your team has been in the last 2 weeks, even though you've taken an L, you've walked away from these 2 games saying, whoa, our guys are playing a little different than we were the first, 5 weeks of the season. Let's reevaluate what we look like the last 2 weeks before this bye week. And now we got a decision to make. This is not one of those things where they're saying, hey, Kyler, we're ready to roll when you get back. This is one of those things where they're saying, man, Jacoby's really got us playing aggressive right now. And you see the way the defense is flying around. I think we're in a good spot.
Let me ask you this.
Sorry, continue.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, go for it.
If you're Jonathan Gannon and Drew Petzing and Monty Alcenfort, and you decide to move off of Kyler Murray, your jobs are over, not Monty's. Like, just let me explain to me why I'm wrong, because I want to understand why I'm wrong. I'm not being combative. I truly want to understand why I'm wrong. So if you go with Kyler Murray, okay, which is what dictionary definition of what you do when your starting quarterback comes back, like usually, like a larger percentage instead of going with the backup.
Good.
You go with Kyler Murray, it doesn't work. Then you've got maybe it's not an us problem. Maybe it's actually a quarterback problem. If you go with Jacoby Brissett and you win 3 games this year, your walking papers are there, aren't they? After the third year?
Well, if you go with Kyler and you win 7 games, your walking papers are there regardless. Like, in my opinion, like if you come out with the way that this team is playing right now, they're only going to get better as Jacoby gets more and more reps with this offense.
I can't believe we're talking about this.
Kyler's not delivering like that, man. He's really not. Like, and it's not a knock on him as a player. I just think that Jacoby fits this scheme better. We talked about it last week, man. Like, this isn't an offensive line like the Philadelphia Eagles where, guys can just sit back there. Like, he's delivering these passes through guys. Like, he's getting aggressive. Jacoby has nothing to lose. Jacoby doesn't care about what his reputation is. He knows who he is as a player. He knows his strengths, his weaknesses. He's not trying to prove people wrong at this point in his career. Kyler's still in that phase of wanting to show that he's the right guy for the job. Within that, he's willing to be kind of less of a risk taker, and you can't play like that right now for where the Cardinals are at. You need someone who's willing to take those risks. Like, I hear what you're saying, Clancy. I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, like, regardless of the way that if this year goes how it was going, and I know they were in close games, but if they win 7-8 games, like 7 games, there's going to be talks of moving on from someone regardless. So if you don't believe in Kyler as your guy right now, I guess what's the point in just holding on? What's the point in holding on? Let's say let's put our big boy pants on and say, hey, this didn't work for us. We're going to roll with our guy and we're going to figure this out after the season's over. Like, that's just how I see it. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm not a coach, guys. Hey,
Not yet.
Yeah.
Let's continue this conversation. Let's put a pause on it half a second. Let's continue it and talk about where the Arizona Cardinals go from here. I think there's an interesting perspective or wrinkle that could be made. Like, maybe Drew Petzing has the final call, trying to save his job too. So let's talk about that next. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breath work, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention to how we craft every model. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. Like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. So I was thinking about this as the game was ending. I wonder if this does come down to a Drew Petzing thing after all. If any coach or GM or anyone is close to getting the axe, or for better or for worse, just not, renewing his contract, it might be Drew Petzing. What if Jonathan Gannon truly, like he says, does not overrule Drew Petzing's side of the ball? What if Drew Petzing's trying to save his job too? Walks into there and says, hey man, I just feel like the Jacoby Brissett thing works better for my offense. I've been getting killed for 2.5 years. Give me another 3 games to show you it's not me, it's the quarterback. And then we can or don't go back to Kyler. It doesn't matter. But he could be someone too that's trying to, like, one of the things I was thinking today was like, I was way too hard on Drew Petzing. Thoughts, Clancy?
I'm going to say it again. If Kyler Murray's a healthy scratch, he is not playing ever again for this team.
Sure.
Unless Jacoby Brissett gets hurt. So it's not going to be a thing like, let's try with Jacoby for a few weeks and then go back to Kyler. Ain't no way.
Sure.
Okay? Drew Petzing looks like a star the last 2 weeks compared to what it was. And I know a lot of this is Jacoby Brissett making plays, but he's probably running, like, if you're changing the way the offense is run to open it up more and it's not your starting quarterback, that's a problem. This is what the offense should be. And then you go to the Kyler Murray version with your backup. You know, it's not that's not what it is. Like, I think Drew Petzing's been fine. Drew Petzing's been good. The offensive line hasn't been great. And things evolve. Things change. Like, you can change your mind. You saw that Drew Petzing was the problem, then maybe it's Kyler. But, Jamil, like, dude, choosing Jacoby puts, like, that. Okay, so maybe you do it this way. Choosing Jacoby means they're bringing everybody back next year. You could also have that argument where it's like, hey, you know what? It was a quarterback issue. Maybe let's see what it looks like with Jacoby Brissett. I just don't know. I don't know how you can crunch the numbers from what we've seen in the first 7 weeks and see anything positive with it. This is like the best of the bad when we're talking about this. You know, like, I don't know. It's a lot to crunch when they lose when there's 7 one-score games.
Yeah. So what's popping in my head is like, we've heard John Gannon say, and this kind of irked us early on. He's like, there's nothing wrong with the offense, right? We heard him say that. And
it's a good point.
And so what was actually wrong in terms
of.
Are
you Nancy Drew in this right now?
Listen, I'm just telling you guys, man. I'm just telling you guys, man. This is
a good point, man. It's a good
point. I'm wondering, okay, why does he keep saying that? And we kept saying, well, what, like, it's Drew Petzing. It's Drew Petzing. Ben just said, is Drew going to go in there and say 100% he's going to say something like that over the course of the bye week? Like, there's a reason why Jonathan Gannon has been saying there's nothing wrong with the offense. I'm fine with the play calls. It's because he's seeing what we're seeing. It's not rocket science. Like, why else would he be saying that? Why else? Please tell me why. If it's not, it's the quarterback position, the routes are being ran. Yeah, we may give up, pressure here and there. Everyone does. And when you don't have a top 5 offensive line, everyone does. Our quarterback's not keeping his eyes down the field. Pressure gets in his face. He pulls it down. He scrambles. Guys are open. Like, we're now seeing, they didn't change the playbook. Same play calls, 2 less running backs, same receivers. Guys are getting open. The ball is getting fit in tight windows. Guys are going up and making catches. I saw Marv do a first down celebration today.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that since Ohio State. Don't know where that was. Like, this, I think we'd be silly to think that Jonathan Gannon was just saying there's nothing wrong with the offense because there wasn't a silver lining between that. Like, he said that for a reason.
While we continue with the offense as a whole, I also just want to talk about some of these other things as well. Like, I know we kind of mentioned it before, but the clear change that should be made on the offensive line is bringing Kelvin Beachum in and removing this Jonah Williams thing. And I want to continue to talk about the offensive line. Jamil, dissect this for me. Maybe try to defend Jonah Williams a bit. I know you're a friend of the offensive line, but Jonah Williams was abysmal today. And to Clancy's credit, he's been right. The Evan Brown thing has not worked either. How much of this is just like Micah Parsons is exposing how bad they are, and the Cardinals have a clear offensive line issue that we haven't had in years past?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, it's Micah Parsons. This Cardinals offensive line, like I said, it's not a top 5 offensive line. You drop back. I don't know how many times Jacoby threw the ball today. I don't know. Someone help me on the numbers. I don't. 37. Yeah, you drop back 37 times. They gave up 6 sacks. There probably could have been more, but like this is. I mean, what did we do? I guess we didn't expect Micah to have a 3-sack game, but we knew he was going to get his. We knew Rashawn Gary was going to get his at some point in time. Yep. Dropping back 37 times is not a good recipe when you got 2 guys like that can rush the passer. Obviously they're professionals and you want to see them hold up because there are guys around the league that can do that, but the Cardinals are not the group that can do that. And that's just the cold hard truth about it. I don't believe that we crucify him and say that he's got to be out of there. Do I think Kelvin Beachum would have had a better day? I don't know. Kelvin Beachum versus Micah Parsons? I don't know.
But when you add Kelvin Beachum and what was it? Would it be Evan Brown as well, sliding that production over? Like maybe you're not having a 3-sack game, right?
Sure.
Or maybe it's just that good.
Well, there was no chipping at all. It was Williams by himself.
0.
Exactly. And we talked about that earlier in the week of like offensive coordinators having the ability to send a running back through there. And we talked about it early on in the game, send a cross-sif across and get him thinking about his legs so he can't just pin his ears back every time it's a pass. So I don't believe that we can just say, this guy can't block, because there's teams that have much better tackles that still have a plan for a guy like Micah Parsons or Rashawn Gary. It's one of those things where it's on the coaching staff as well as the player. Like there's times where you got to win your one-on-one. That's what the NFL is. But there's also a time to be smart and say, I've been leaving this guy on a little island here and there. Let me send a running back. Let me send a tight end or a bluff action at him just to give him some space to breathe. So it's tough, man. It's a tough way to just kind of say I can blame it on one person, because I do think it's a collective effort.
Yeah, I mean, not having Tip Ryman, I mean, that's Tip Ryman's chief role is to be that guy. So, like Paris Johnson on the first bull rush, he held up. Jacoby stepped up in the pocket and I think completed a pass, but like Paris got beat once. I think he had almost 10 pressures. Micah, he must have it by the end of the game. Like, I know that it's Micah Parsons, and I also know that the Cardinals did nothing to upgrade the offensive line in the offseason, and then showing. I mean, this is just what it is. They chose their battles with it. They decided to go full defense and, running it back on offense. Like, I don't think the offensive line is nearly as bad as it looked today. Like, they just got absolutely abused on the interior. And then if the interior pressure without Micah Parsons is close to getting home and Micah can go one-on-one on the outside, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like, you're screwed, and that's just what we saw. I mean, here's the thing. I feel like I've said that a lot this show. I used to say that a lot. That used to be like my crutch thing to say. I don't say it anymore. But anyways.
You get a t-shirt made.
Yeah. It feels like the exact same feeling the last 5 weeks. So if things aren't changing, it's going to look different every week. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Doesn't matter any of it. Like, where do the Cardinals go from here?
Yeah.
I'm hard-pressed to find something that'll improve it. I don't care if it's Kyler or Jacoby, like whatever. It doesn't, like, yeah, of course, quarterback's most important, so I'm not making that fluff, but like nothing they do is going to improve the situation right now. And I think that's kind of a stark thing that we need to understand. They're 2-5. They're probably going to win 3 more games the rest of the year if they're lucky. They're looking at a top 10 pick. You're looking at moving off your quarterback, maybe moving off your coaches. Like, the problem is, and Jamil, you've played with far less talented teams that have been significantly more productive in the win-loss column.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking the Tennessee team. Like, you guys had, you're number 1 seed in the AFC. Obviously the coaching was better. The cohesion was better. The scheme, especially defensively, especially offensively was better. But like, there's way too much talent on this team to be making excuses for this team. So something's just amiss, right? Or do you not think this roster is super talented yet?
No, this roster is talented. this roster is talented, man. It's so hard. Like like you said, I played on teams that weren't even close. I mean, we had Derrick Henry. Don't get me wrong. Now, I'm not saying that Derrick Henry's not talented, but this team, from a standpoint of just offensive firepower, the receivers that they have. We had two receivers. We had Corey Davis and AJ Brown. Obviously, two really good receivers, but like this team is on paper better than what we had. And maybe a player here and there. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's so hard to put what it is on the Cardinals because like you said, the guys on paper, you would think that this team would be better than what they are. I don't know. It's tough for me to say. I will say I don't think the Cardinals are very good in situational football.
Yeah.
That's a coaching thing. And my experience with Vrabel, like everything was about situational football, and we won a lot of games based off situational football. I think the Cardinals could be better in that category, and that would probably swing these games a different direction. But yeah, it's tough to say.
Were you on that team when they were in London and went for 2 against the Chargers?
I was.
Yeah. That was the first time where I was like, Mike Vrabel's a bleeping genius.
Yes.
And that was to win the game at the end, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That was the first time I was like, oh, man.
I was also on the team where we kind of duped Bill Belichick with the whole send 12 on the field, take the penalty, and ran the clock down. Yeah, and
that's
that was
right.
something.
I remember that.
That was literally something that was talked about that week in meetings. Like the situational football was, we had literally a 30-minute meeting on every situation every week. That's just what it was. And some coaching staffs don't do that. And then that's when you see like those hiccups happen and players say, players say, oh, we didn't know the rule on that. I think that was a Super Bowl in which someone didn't know the overtime rule or something like that. Or like those are meetings that happen on good coaching staffs. And I don't know that the Cardinals have that in situational football awareness.
Let's dive deeper into where the Arizona Cardinals go from here, some lessons of the game, and let's do it all next. Today's show is brought to you by the lovely folks over at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets. Hey, listen, man. Been right on the money with the Cardinals all year long. I missed it by half a point in week 1, but I told you should probably take that cover of Packers Cardinals plus 6.5 in this game. The Arizona Cardinals covered. You put $5 on the Cardinals plus 6.5. You would have won $300 in bonus bets. You put that $5 on the Packers money line. You would have got us $300 in bonus bets. So maybe, you want to feel better about the Bills going up against the Saints or the Chiefs going up against a, lack thereof football team. Hey, listen, you put your $5 down and that bet wins. You get $300 in bonus bets. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com, download the FanDuel app today, and get started. Let's dive deep in some of those lessons and just continuously with the what do the Arizona Cardinals go from here. I think we're all going to talk about the big thing, but what is the number one thing you took from this game that you can take with you the rest of the Cardinals season? You're like, all right, we learned that in this game, Clancy.
The only thing you can trust on this team is Trey McBride.
Damn, that's a pretty good statement. That's pretty good.
When who is throwing him the ball?
Doesn't matter. That's the only guy. You know what I mean? Of course, like Jacoby, I'm not an idiot. Jacoby Brissett obviously played better than Kyler the last 2 weeks. When I mean about the quarterback controversy, there isn't one because there's no world. And if I'll eat it, I'll eat the shoes if it is. But I just don't know if that's how this organization works. But I mean, truly, that's the only thing you can trust every week. Maybe Will Johnson, but
even he had a couple of penalties today. 3 of them.
He's a kid, man.
He's a rookie.
Yeah, I know it happens. It's rookie stuff. But if we're holding it to like that standard, that's a good one, Clancy.
Yeah, Trey McBride.
That's good. My biggest takeaway is this team is competitive with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Is it not apparent? Am I wrong?
No, it's
for that?
apparent.
Like,
It's apparent.
Okay.
What? Okay. So let me ask you this, since that's apparent. What is the best argument to be made now, Jamil? Because it feels like you are the furthest on the Jacoby thing. I'm probably close with you. Clancy, I'm sure, is there too, but it's probably leaned towards the Cardinals making the wrong decision, which is okay. What is the best case for Kyler? Like, someone in the comment section is going to fight with you. What do you think they would say? And like, is that even a good enough response? Is there anything there that you could give?
In terms of Kyler being the guy moving forward?
Yeah, like Kyler's being scapegoated. Like, they're not using Kyler well enough. They're putting together an offense that works for Jacoby, but not Kyler. Does any of that hold weight with you?
No, it doesn't. The offense doesn't change. It doesn't change. I experienced this with Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill. The offense did not change. We ran the same exact offense. Ryan was just better at his pre-snap reads, and that's just what it was. It wasn't like, oh, we got Ryan Tannehill, we're about to blow this thing out the water. That was not ever the case. He was brought there to be a backup, just like Jacoby is brought here to be a backup. And I don't know that anyone could propose an argument to me that I would say, oh yeah, you're right, they just haven't done that for Kyler. Like, no, it doesn't fit in terms of an argument for Kyler. It just doesn't work for me.
I think here's the best thing that you could paint this picture of the Arizona Cardinals season kind of being like one giant failure, at least thus far, being, 2-5 on the season. You're probably there. Like, bad news is they're not going to be a playoff team this year. We kind of all expected they should be a playoff team, or in week 16, week 17, they're literally battling out for one of those final playoff spots. Here's the good thing. You got clarity. You know you are in the quarterback market. Before, you weren't sure. Before the beginning of the season, like, I thought Kyler was going to have a good enough season to take this team to new heights in the playoffs. But, like, you know where you're at now. You know exactly what you have to do. Go find your Sam Darnold or your Baker Mayfield, which I think is more plausible nowadays than it has ever been. But even not that. Like, maybe it's not that. Because the Raiders tried to go get that with Geno Smith and it didn't work.
Jeez.
Go now you're in the quarterback position. Now you're in the quarterback drafting position. Like, here's the thing. Like, start Kyler, you're going to win 2 or 3 more games. Start Jacoby Brissett, you're going to win 2 or 3 more games. I'm with Clancy there that it doesn't matter from that perspective. But start watching some Saturday college football, because get familiar with these quarterbacks, because I think regardless whether they sign a guy, they're going to draft one too. And there's some good ones out there. So, like, it's not all bad. This team, I know Clancy makes a good point, by the only thing you can trust right now for sure is Trey McBride. They do have a lot of talent on this team. And the defense was good. Like, let's just say that has been good to start the season.
Good enough to win. Good enough to win, for sure.
Marv has looked good in stretches. Probably need to get him ball a little bit more. Zay Jones has been a revolution from the second half of the Colts game to now. Trey McBride is awesome. You can find a running back in the open market. Like, it's not all bad. It's hard to find the quarterback, but at least now, like, it doesn't need to be said anymore. Like, you could tell us that Kyler's going to go be good elsewhere, but fine. But, like, we're there. And, like, clarity is a good thing to have. You know what you are, and I don't think you knew that before.
I mean, Here's the thing. The problem is college quarterbacks have been poopy diapers this year. Like, let's be honest. Like, this isn't. Simpson's
been nice. Sam Leavitt was good yesterday again against ASU. Like, you're right, Clancy. For most of the season, I would say yes, but there's been a few. There's been have popped.
A couple games, okay. And also, they don't need to go get their Sam Darnold. They have Jacoby Brissett. Like, Jacoby Brissett, that would be the plan. He starts next year. Like, I don't know why you'd go get somebody else. He already knows the offense. If you're bringing Drew Petzing back, like, if you're getting rid of Kyler Murray, I think everybody else is coming back, the coaching staff. And like, unless Nick Roush gets a head coaching look, which I'm not sure he will. Maybe he's now a year away. Like, the quarterback thing it's not as simple. And this is why I've pushed back so much on it. It's like, it's not as simple as, go get another one. It's like, okay, awesome. Look at the bottom 10 quarterbacks in the league. You want one of those? No? cool. We're not in the world anymore where Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan and Andy Dalton are journeymen. Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, like there aren't any of those guys anymore. Sam Darnold is a child. Sam Darnold's like 26. Like he's been in the league for 6 years and he's been on so many different teams. Like if you're gonna do that, understand next year you're probably not going to compete either. And that's a difficult pill to swallow unless, they allow you to trade for Lamar Jackson, which is probably going to happen, or they'll allow you to trade for Jared. Like that's not going to happen. So you're most likely going to you're going to take a downgrade to the quarterback position that already isn't stable as much as you thought it was going into the season.
Here's a pushback to that. One, Kyler Murray is a bottom 3 quarterback in the NFL. I think you're already kind of there. Like he is downshifted.
You think he's a bottom 3 quarterback in the NFL?
No. Bottom third. Bottom
you
third.
Said bottom 3. Okay.
Whatever. Clarifying. I meant bottom third. Like because I think before he was probably in like the 15th range. Now I think he's in clearly the bottom third of quarterbacks. Maybe it works elsewhere. I don't know. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield were both there at 1.2 when they were cut by the Panthers. And, the Jets at one point. And when I mean go find your Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield, it's much easier said than done, but like not Jacoby Brissett. Like maybe you go find someone out there that you can bring in. Really difficult. It's likely going to be the quarterback market, but go find your franchise quarterback. And yeah, Clancy, like you are conceding that you're not going to be competing next year, even with Jacoby Brissett. Like I have a decade worth of data to show you Jacoby Brissett is a franchise quarterback. Not a good place to be. Maybe that changes, but it's probably not going to happen. Like, they're not going to be competitive anyways. You got to find the quarterback.
Can a young quarterback with a ready-made offense take a team where it wasn't before with an average quarterback? Like, say you draft Sam Levitt, okay? Or you draft, whatever it is in the top 10.
Ty Simpson.
Probably have a top 10 pick. You look at, okay. All right.
Go Sun Devils. Go Sun Devils.
Looked so good yesterday.
Say they do draft Sam Levitt in the top 10. Can this team be better next year than they are this year with a Jacoby Brissett, Sam Levitt, some sort of duo there? Let's just say Jacoby for simplicity purposes.
No.
Sure.
No.
So
that's a clear decision that there's another retool at the end of a rebuild.
Yeah.
And there's no end in sight to where there's actually going to be stability. Can you talk me through what it would look like in the locker room like that?
Well, look, I'll say this. I'm going to say no, that they won't be competitive because they don't have a quarterback developer in their coaching staff like that. The teams that you see that have these young guys, and I know it's been rough, but I mean, I think the stat is the last 6 quarterbacks that have been taken in the first round, each of their head coaches have gotten fired the following year. So
during their rookie season,
during their rookie season, they've had a new head coach for the following year. So yeah, that's a crash course within itself. So who's out there that's available? You got to make this probably a splash trade. But like there's not going to be a young guy out of college that comes in and changes this organization right away.
Can I push back on that a little bit? Like with all the really bad teams in the NFL that are going to be picking in the top 5, the Cardinals have the tight end. I think you could find pretty easily a really good running back or a B running back. We think Marvin, at some point can turn into at least a number 2. Like they have the Cardinals, especially defensively, and now with some of the offensive weapons, and you have your franchise left tackle, like they are ready, made for success where you're not asking for a franchise savior. You're asking for someone to not crash, maybe not a Maserati, but a really nice Honda Civic, right?
Yeah. Have you watched the Vikings at all?
Damn, that's a good point. All right.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin O'Connell's one of the best in terms of coaching quarterbacks. And we saw JJ McCarthy come in after a year of just learning and still struggling. So, you can have as good as a roster as you need. The Vikings have a top defense in the league. They have weapons all over the field, running back, receivers, tight ends. Quarterback is a different animal. And in terms of guys being able to develop right away, there's a struggle. There's just a struggle. And so this when they decide to move on from Kyler Murray, because I do think that's the case. Like, and it's not a knock on Kyler. I just think that, when you overstay your welcome, it's just like one of those things where it's time to go at some point. Like, that's where we're at. This isn't going to be just next year. We're going to see a whole different team. Like, we're going to be kind of having these conversations for a little while now until, I believe I unfortunately think it'll get chalked up to a coaching thing. Oh, we don't have a guy that can develop our quarterback. That's where it'll go. But I don't know, man. This is going to be something. This isn't just a quick fix in terms of the quarterback position, because guys out of college don't come in NFL ready. And then there's not a lot of guys that are just out there, especially number 2 quarterbacks that you can say, he'll come in and make us better. You have to make a splash, trade, and even then you got to get rid of something in order to get something.
Yeah. I mean, listen, as all of that's true and it's mind-bending and it sucks and it's exciting at the same time, weirdly. With all of the quarterback stuff aside, for a second, going into the bye week, from a human perspective, as an offensive lineman in this locker room, what does that locker room look like right now going into the bye?
As far as morale?
Just like they got, 10 more games.
Yeah.
And they got an extra week to stew.
Yeah, I think I'm not kidding. This sounds crazy to say, but I think everyone's looking at the last 2 weeks and they're saying, this feels different. This just feels different. I know we've lost, but look at who we lost to and how we've lost. Like, we hung in games with teams that are considered playoff caliber teams. Like, this is the thing. We keep saying they have the guys to do it. The fit at quarterback is, and I know Jacoby may not be a long-term answer. We're not even talking long-term here, though. If he gets you to, and we don't know if it's possible, if he gets you to 8 or 9 games because you're just playing competitive and scrappy, that's what the Cardinals just may be. They may just be a scrappy team. So, I think they're looking at it right now and saying, dog, we've been competing differently these last 2 weeks. So let's see what they decide when we come back from this bye week.
If Clancy said kind of jokingly, maybe the Cardinals need to trade for Lamar Jackson. And here's what I'll say to that. For a cross-sport reference, no one thought the Dallas Mavericks were going to trade Luka Doncic, so never say never. And so I'm going to leave you on that high hope, Cardinals fans. Never say never.
Lamar ain't won Jack either.
What was
Lamar
that?
Ain't won anything either.
Yeah. With that being said, for my guy Alex Clancy, Jamil Douglas, myself, Benjamin Garcia, everyone in the comment section that for some reason I can't post your comments today, so I apologize for that. Hey, at the end of the day, Jamil's right. From our audio audience, forks up. ASU looks pretty good. It's not all down bad in the Valley. So with that being said, we will see you guys this week. For Clancy, Douglas, myself, Benjamin Garcia, we will talk to you guys later on this week.